Traitor is the sequel to the Enemy Lines duology, and it focuses on Jason Solo and not really focusing on the others of the main original trilogy heroes or mention any prequel characters. Unlike there is a prequel era character from the expanded universe in the story, if you could say that. But ultimately, this focuses on more about Jason Solo and his experience being lone and isolated from everybody else and dealing with the Yuuzhan Vong on his own since, well, he's being tortured at the moment thanks to Vengiri, who betrayed him to the Yuuzhan Vong after he killed the Voxen Queen at the end of the Faithful mission, of the Strike Team mission, and Star by Star. Um, Vengen, I really try hard to pronounce that name. I've been trying really hard to pronounce that name. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if Virgin Jiren begins showing Jason that there's no dark side of the Force and that the dark side is rather the full power of the Force, which is not actually wrong to an extent. Like, in my personal opinion, there's no such thing as light or dark. It's religious dogmas that establish that ideology. And while I did say there was a thing called the positive and the negative side, positive emotions, negative emotions, and whatnot, but that doesn't technically mean it's evil or this is good. So I still stand by my belief that the Force is in all one gray area, and it's just that religious dogmas of the Jedi Order and the Sith Empire just try to warp it and twist it in their ideology. Um, Jason is placed within the embrace of pain, a bioengineered torture rack. Yeah, they went there. That closely monitors Jason's life signs, keeping him enmeshed in pain, but away from the release of death. A cruel teacher, whatever her name is, advises Jason to accept the pain and basically be converted to the Yuuzhan Vong side. Nomanar watches the appalling process carefully. He intends to convert Jason to the true way so that Jason will forget his past ideology and be pitted against his sister in a duel to finish that will satisfy the demands of the Yuuzhan Vong scripture. Jason is released from the embrace to toil aboard the sea ship, flaring organic building blocks to correspond for his transformation to Yuuzhan Tar, a recreation of the invader's homeworld in the other galaxy. Aboard, he tends to a Diharam, a Nansis Yamas-like organism that may one day grow to coordinate the transformation of the city planet as its world brain. Jason's national affinity with living creatures serves him as well as he allies with the Dihriam. He is able to influence the living organism to make up his inverse. Jason conspires with his Dihriam ally to kill all the rival ones. So, soon more Yuuzhan Vong forces arrive at the sea ship in order to select one of them for the World Brain Project. Um, they would then be able to have complete independence in controlling the Yuuzhan Vong form planet in a ceremonial ritual, but Jason refuses to join the ceremony. He and the Ditharam he is bonded to then allows him to take control of the immature Ampastaths, which is basically snake weaponry, bioengineered organically, and wear them as armor as he goes through the sea ship and causes a great massacre that kills Yuuzhan Vong and non-Yuuzhan Vong alike. And further, he makes all the other slaves attack the Vong with immature weapons, which turns out to be as much a danger to him as it is to the Yuuzhan Vong. Jason reaches the death end and kills all of them, save the one he bonded to. For when he's about to kill that one, Jason believes he sees his late brother Anakin telling him not to kill it because of their partnership. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. Like, you could, because in this story, like, where we do know Anakin Solo does become a Force Ghost way later on in Fate of the Jedi series, but we don't know if Anakin Solo has learned it yet. So all appearances in this story where he shows up here are ambiguous as to whether they are real or an illusion. So you could make the argument, oh, maybe it is Anakin Solo. Maybe he did become truly one with the Force and became a Force spirit, like Anakin Skywalker did. Or it could be that Jason's psyche is becoming messed up and he's seeing hallucinations. Anyways, Vergen convinces Jason not to kill the last one, and he falls unconscious. When Jason wakes up, he finds he is on the Yuzin homeworld of Yuzin Tar, basically Coruscant, and thanks to Vergen, who aids him on his trek to the city capital, he realizes it was once Coruscant, obviously, now captured by the Yuzin. Jason learns that he can sense the Yuzin in the Force, a result of the slave seed Vernon had implanted in him on the sea ship to make him obey the Yuzin Vong. He uses this Vong sense to escape Yuzin Vong forces on Coruscant. So basically, yeah, it's clearly obvious this was going to serve as a major role of Vong sense, which was, like I said, a very murky sense of the Vong, like Anakin Solo was given when he got that Lambert crystal to use as his lightsaber. But now they went ahead and did this, where he's implanted with something that could have made him be loyal to the Yuzin Vong, but instead he can sense them now. Jason and Vernon travel underground on Yuzin Tar to get underneath what was once the old Jedi temple that was destroyed after the fall of the Old Republic and the rise of the Galactic Empire. Which begs the question to me, like, I know this probably was explained in the books, but, like, why the hell did they not rebuild it? Like, yeah, I'm trying to wonder how that was never addressed, in my opinion. I'm like, I could be wrong. They probably did explain it in future books, and they just forgot about it, and then they wanted to make Yavin 4 the new temple in honor of, the whole turning point in the Galactic Civil War. So I could understand that. So Vergen questions Jason further as to who he is while blinding him in the dark of the underground. Jason states proudly that he is a Jedi, and Vergen tells him that it's all a game and that Jason is lost. She reveals that he is surrounded by Yuzin Vong with no Monar. Jason slips into unconsciousness and unleashes the dark side of the Force upon Vergen and Yuzin Vong. When confronted by wounded Vergen about it afterwards, she argues that there is no difference between the light and the dark sides of the Force. They are both the same. And that's basically sums up my entire belief. Like, there is no such thing as the light and the dark side of the Force. It's just the same thing. You're just using a power. Like in the Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy, you get to use Force lightning while still a Jedi, and you're not turned to the dark side. And, like, let's see, Anakin Skywalker, he used lightning, but he didn't turn to the dark side at the time. Yet. On his ventures during a duel on Coruscant that happened in the comics in the expanded universe. And, well, like I said, like, he didn't turn to the dark side immediately afterwards. Like, it had served as a build-up, but, like, yeah. So, it gets much worse for Jason. Like, he sees more hallucinations of Anakin, and then Jason enters a cavern beast. Inside the belly of the gargantuan animal, he hears a voice crying for help. He tries to shut it out, believing it to be another hallucination. Then, to his horror, he realizes it has a presence in the Force. He tries to rescue the girl crying for help, but to no avail. But when he unleashes the hate inside himself, he uses the dark side to rescue the child, and this confuses him and draws his mind back to Vern's teachings that the dark side was simply the Force unleashed potential. He discovers more survivors, refugees of the conquest of Coruscant. He assumes that they too were drawn in by the illusions and false hopes. Now, going back to the other part where he begins to realize the dark side is really deeper in aspects of the Force. Okay, I get what they're trying to do. They're building him up for Catalyst, since he's going to become that later down the road in Legacy of the Force. Like, this serves to build him up as the next Sith Lord. And, well, I can get that, but there's also a lot of philosophical talk going on here regarding the Force and how it's used, and that's kind of interesting. Kind of helps the expanding universe get some more legitimacy regarding, how there's no such thing as light and dark side. It's an establishment by two religious dogmas. But, yeah. Through his confusion, though, he also finds anger and rage. The refugees have a rule. Whoever arrives last in the beach would be sent sent to feed its ravenous hunger. The girl arrived last, and she was undergoing an execution. The survivors and most are raising to Jason. The girl accused him of being the last, and try to send him on his way to the stomach. Enraged, he draws on the anger he feels and uses the force to make the animal believe that the humans are poisonous, triggering it to forcibly eject them all. Bereft of their shelter, the survivors will most likely die from Coruscant's many dangers. Lost and confused, he leaves them and goes on. Yeah, I haven't responded yet because that is a sick bastard. Like, okay, like I don't know if he goes back for them. I haven't. Let me just continue reading on. Uh, let's hope he goes back for them because that's a bastard move. Like, they're desperate. They've lost their minds, yes, but you kind of understand why they've lost their minds. And since they're free now, they're most likely going to get killed by the Yuuzhan Vong if they get discovered. So, yeah, I'm just going to say he's a bastard. Like, how are you going to root for Jason for a bit when he does this? Like, I get he's confused of what he just done, but, like, seriously, man. Jason then arrives at the Soul's now ruined apartment and is saddened by how much things have changed. His home and his life now a perversion of its former self. Shortly after his arrival, he's visited by what is thought to be and may have been Anakin's spirit. This also challenges his thoughts on the Force. The apparition of Anakin engages in the playful banter they once shared, and Jason tells them of the things he has done and also his confusion. Jason also asks Anakin whether he is real or an illusion. Anakin counters, asking Jason if there is a difference, saying that life, like the Force, is all one and that there is no difference, akin to Vernon's earlier teachings. Jason then thinks that Anakin really is an illusion and tries to shut him out, falling into a deep depression. Vernon arrives and wakes him, once again challenging Jason's beliefs. They are soon joined by Norman R. and his entourage of warriors who confront Jason, saying that they believe him to be the avatar of Yin Yamaka, offering him Anakin's lightsaber if he would convert to the Yuuzhan Vong's religion. Jason agrees, although Norman R. is unaware of the time that he is lying. The rest of the story reveals that Ganner has been searching for Jason due to rumors of him being alive on a New Republic camp ship that keeps refugees from the Yuuzhan Vong War. Ganner finally confronts Jason and the Yuuzhan Vong forces and is captured. After Ganner is captured, he is sent to Yuuzhan Tar. Jason reveals he's not really converted to the Yuuzhan Vong ways and is simply acting. And the Yuuzhan Vong do not know whether or not they can trust Jason to be an avatar. And no one knows that Jason is acting now. However, they still bring Jason and Ganner to the well of the World Brain where the Galactic Senate once met. So basically, they've turned the Galactic Senate into the World Brain location, and while Jason and Ganner locked themselves in, their plan being that Jason would destroy the World Brain that used to be the Duhan he was partnered with at the Seed Ship. After Jason killed all the rest of the Duhans, his partner was selected to be the World Brain on Yuuzhan Tar because, well, they're all dead except for him. Which begs the question, why did he not kill him? Because of their partnership? Like, shouldn't the creature, ask, shouldn't Jason consider it a mercy killing since he doesn't want it to be turned into the World Brain? Probably. We don't really know, but yeah. While Ganner would then escape. However, Ganner tells Jason he will sacrifice himself so Jason will be able to kill the World Brain in time. Ganner confronts all the Yuuzhan Vong warriors who come his way after Jason gives them Anakin's lightsaber and kills nearly all of them in combat. But he dies himself from the wounds inflicted upon him. Meanwhile, Jason does not kill the World Brain, but convinces it not to make things imperfect for the Yuuzhan Vong in order to teach them a compromise in the course of their invasion of the galaxy. Verngar, in the meantime, manipulates Norman R into revealing the location of his personal escape ship that would help let him escape in case trouble came to Yuuzhan Tar. Vern betrays Norman R and lets his biological life forms trap him while she and Jason escape to become a third party themselves in the Yuuzhan Vong War as they head back to the New Republic. So that's pretty much how it ends. Yeah. It's kind of surprising. We can't tell if Anakin's in this story or not. Is it real? Is it an hallucination? And even Anakin's lightsaber is now a plot point. I don't know how to feel about that one. Like, I'm a fan of Anakin Solo, but turning his lightsaber and basically his character after death is a plot point. Like, I get why, since his death would serve as a catalyst for many things later down the road after New Jedi Order. But to turn his lightsaber into a plot point and then afterwards in Unifying Force how it ends, like it's like they're still trying to make it look like they're trying to keep like Anakin's act and sacrifice is the turning point in the war, which did work in the end, in my opinion. But like, it probably would have felt better if it was Anakin at the time, if he was still alive. Like maybe he was supposed to be the one captured and Jason was supposed to die, like the behind the scenes note said in the Essential Reader's Guide and on Wikipedia. But like regarding this, the only installment this behind the scenes stuff, the only installment in the New Jedi Order to not feature the principal heroes Luke, Han, and Leia at all. That's a first. Traitor is a novel filled with challenging philosophies that elaborates upon Vernian and her diverging teachings about the Force. The initial story outline for the New Jedi Order series had Anakin Solo encounter a female mentor seemingly sprung from the dark side. Later versions would describe her as a Jedi sleeper agent dispatched just prior to Palpatine and Vader's Order 66 and Great Jedi Purge campaign. She is described as a member of a long-lived alien species cute in a Yoda-like manner, which would lead the Yuuzhan Vong to underestimate her. Her philosophies are called Aikido-like in the outline, and the plan was for her to teach Jason how to reflect on an opponent's hostile energy back at him without expending his own energy. So that was the behind the scenes information. Like that was what was originally going to go down like, but they clearly did not do that. So yeah, like they probably borrowed ideas from it, but ultimately it was really just like okay, like like I said, there's a lot of philosophical talk about the Force, and that's what makes the story a lot interesting. Like it's hard to really top star by star. Like you need to like the rest are now just build up to the big finale now since we've hit the rising act since we hit the beginning, rising action, climax, and now we're getting to the falling action. So it's kind of a little bit downhill, but a little bit regarding the story since well, how you top star by star, you have to go to the big ending. So it's gonna be a while till we get there most likely. But ultimately, I love the philosophical talk that happens regarding the Force and how it's like complex and whatnot, and also serves to show my theory about how there's no such thing as dark side and light side. It's just negative and positive, or in this shade of gray area. Like that's really fascinating for me. Well, everyone, this was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.